Hi, I'm Wanda McKnight, and thanks for joining us for another edition of the McKnight Report. Now, you know we love to bring you information you really want, and we're here today with Marva Goldsmith. Marva has just written a new book that's really getting a lot of buzz. It's called Rebranding Yourself After Age 50. Hi, Marva.
Hi, Wanda.
Marva's going to tell us exactly what this concept means and why it's so important. We're going to learn all about branding, rebranding, and why we need to do it, whether we're 50 or 20 or any age in between. We're excited about it and looking forward to talking to you.
Looking forward to it.
I'm a single mother of 2 kids. I work a lot. I come home tired. We do miss a lot. He dropped off for a whole month. Sometimes I would talk to him and he wouldn't even turn around and look at me. I would just get frustrated because in any way that I talk to him, it just doesn't go through his head. I didn't give up because there's always hope that they'll snap out of it.
Give your teen the boost they need to graduate. Call 1-877-4A-KID or join us at boostup.org for tips and advice.
Hi, we're back with Marva, and Marva is going to tell us all about how she came to write this great book, Rebranding Yourself After Age 50. And in fact, I think you've rebranded yourself. Is that right, Marva?
That's correct.
Okay, now, first of all, I understand that you are with Marva Goldsmith and Associates. Is that right?
Yes.
And you're the CEO of that company?
Actually, I'm the CIO, Chief Image Officer.
Okay, well, now what's the CIO? What's that mean?
Well, my business started off as an image firm, so image consulting.
I see.
And I decided that I wanted to call myself a Chief Image Officer.
Okay.
And that's part of the whole branding process.
Okay. Well, first of all, tell us, what does that mean? I keep hearing people talk about branding. You got to have a brand. What are they talking about?
Yeah. Well, actually, everyone has a brand.
Okay.
And your brand operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
All right.
The difference is that most brands are created accidentally.
What do you mean?
Well, what that means is simply that you're not putting any intention around how you want to be known. And when we think about branding, we think about it in a career or business marketplace.
Okay.
I mean, you have a brand at home, but what we want to focus on is creating an intentional brand in your career or in your business marketplace.
Now, is the brand the same as a reputation?
It is part of your brand is reputation. Part of your brand is how you package yourself. Part of your brand is how you get visibility for who you are. But really, branding is all about the experience.
Okay.
So it's how someone experiences you.
Okay, now you've told us a lot, so let's go back. You said branding is part reputation, but part of how you package yourself. What does that mean?
Well, you know, the easiest thing for people to think about is what they see. And in fact, you know, there's lots of studies that suggest that when someone meets you for the first time, 55% of what they respond to is what they see.
Okay.
38% is what they hear.
Okay.
And only 7% is the content of the message.
Oh, okay.
And so we need to be intentional about brand packaging, how we package the brand.
How we look, how we dress?
Look, how we speak, how we interact. And keep in mind, we're still talking about career and business marketplace.
Okay.
Let me give you a quick example. So you know there's a new Wegmans here in Prince George's County.
Okay.
And I went to visit. I've been there, in fact, 3 times.
Okay.
When you start to think about branding, branding is all about the promise of an experience.
Okay, an experience.
It's the experience. And so I have another supermarket that has been my fail-safe supermarket that I go to twice a week. But since the Wegmans has been in our area, I've started driving 20 minutes to go to the Wegmans.
Okay.
And the reason for that is the promise of an experience. And so with personal branding as well, we promise an experience.
Like by interacting with each other?
For instance, this show is the promise of an experience.
I see.
Over time, people will associate you with this show, and they will expect a certain level of performance.
I see, I see.
At work, we expect a certain level of performance.
Okay.
And so this whole idea of creating intentional brand is really about identifying what you want to be known for.
I see.
And then consciously creating opportunities for people to experience you in that way.
Okay. So now you said it's about presentation, packaging, and you also use the term visibility. Explain that for us.
Well, this is an example of getting visibility for your brand.
Having the show?
having the show.
I see.
And so when you think about branding, branding is all about separating yourself from the competition.
Okay.
What makes me different and special? The visibility piece is important because if you create yourself as a leader, as a thought, expert in your field, but no one knows about it, you're still not going to be selected.
I see.
And so if you think about it, I like to use an example of chicken.
Okay.
Because
we like chicken.
Everyone likes chicken.
Yes.
You go to the store and you purchase a chicken.
Okay.
Now, which chicken do you pick?
I pick the one on sale.
There you go. There's no difference. It's a commodity. You just pick the one that's on sale.
Okay.
There may be a brand name chicken that's sitting right next to it, but if it's not on sale, if the expiration date is the same, if it smells the same, looks the same, you're going to select the sale chicken.
Sure.
But what if you want a piece of Kentucky Fried Chicken
Uh-oh.
or Popeyes, right?
Uh-oh, okay.
You're going to go to the Popeyes or to the KFC.
Sure, because we associate that?
Well, because they have very intentionally created a brand. That brand is about the taste.
Okay.
It's about the experience.
Okay.
It's about, all those kinds of things that separates it from the competition.
I see.
Okay, so when you start to think about yourself in the career marketplace,
yes,
and you're competing with 100 other people that have the same experience, right? Same
Sure.
school, same skill set.
Yes.
Just like those chickens sitting next to each other, that's a product, right?
Sure.
The minute you start to distinguish yourself and create this experience of you, then there's a reason for them to seek, select, and purchase you.
Okay.
Products are merely consumed,
Sure.
and theirs is based on price and things of that nature.
Okay.
But brand products, brands, are selected, sought after, selected, and purchased.
Okay. And I guess another example would be clothing. Remember, we all used to just wear jeans. We didn't care what kind it was. But then the designer jeans started coming out, and we were consciously selecting these different brands. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah. So you want someone to select you as a brand.
I see.
And so the way to do that is to identify what makes you different and special.
Okay.
How do I stand out from the crowd? And then after you do that, after you figure out what it is you want to be known for, then you get visibility.
Okay.
And so visibility might be writing an article. It might be volunteering in a high visibility organization.
I see.
That would be within your industry.
Okay.
And so you would volunteer, people would experience you,
Okay.
right? They experience what makes you different and special. And then as time goes on, they start to select you.
Okay.
So, you're not just another product on the shelf.
Okay. Now, obviously, this is something that we all need to think about, branding ourselves. But why is it so important for us to do it now? What's going on? What's happening?
Well, in a competitive marketplace where jobs are not as plentiful as they used to be, the people who have the jobs, they're going to go out and look for people with certain types of experiences, certain
Okay.
skill sets, and they're going to see that there are tons and tons of products to choose from.
Okay.
So you really want to be the one that's kind of the cream rises to the top.
Okay.
So you want to be the one that people start to recognize as either being a thought leader in your field or that they've had some experience with you. And so you're always sharpening the saw. You're always thinking about, how can I create this experience of myself that makes me valuable to particular types of employers.
Okay. Now, you've rebranded yourself, I understand.
That's true.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I spent 20 years in the utility industry. I'm an electrical engineer.
Okay.
And when I turned 40, I started thinking about, how do I want to spend the next 10 to 15 years working?
Sure.
And so I decided that I wanted to, well, actually, I spent 4 years here in Washington as a lobbyist.
Okay.
And so I decided I wanted to move back to Washington
Okay.
because I was in Detroit at the time and manage the company's Washington office, their federal affairs office.
Okay.
But I needed an advanced degree. So if you start thinking about yourself as a brand, you're always going to think about what does the brand need to get to whatever the goal is.
So first you get the goal.
So you have to have the goal.
Okay.
It needs to be a goal in mind. And then you start to think about what is it that the brand needs to be effective.
Okay.
And so the brand needed an advanced degree.
All right.
Right? So I took a year off. I went to Harvard's Kennedy School.
Oh my goodness.
It was fabulous. It was fabulous. There were 200 of us from 45 different countries.
Wow.
And
I take it these are all people who are not the traditional school-aged person?
Exactly. They were ages 29 to 59.
Wow.
We had thoracic surgeons. We had freedom fighters from Zimbabwe. We had deposed dictators. I mean, all kinds of folks made up this class.
In the same program?
In the same program.
And what program is this?
It's the Kennedy School. It's called the Mid-Career Program.
Oh, okay.
And after a year, because they take in your experience, but you leave there with a master's in public administration.
I see.
So again, as you start to think about the brand, what you want to do is you want to separate yourself from the competition.
Okay.
So this became a piece of separation, something that distinguished me from others in my field.
Definitely.
Right? So engineering degree, Harvard degree, so these are distinguishing characteristics.
Okay.
And so after that experience, the company merged with the gas company. The job I wanted was no longer available.
Oh,
So then I had to sit back and say, well, what do I really want to do?
okay.
Well, the goal, I really want to move to Washington.
Okay.
And then I started to think about this might be the opportunity for me to recreate myself and really do something that I love.
Okay.
And while I was in school, I hired a coach, which I recommend to anybody. I hired a coach. She asked one question: if you could do anything in the world, what would it be? And I started explaining how I would open up a wearable art boutique in Old Town Alexandria.
Okay.
And she says, well, what are you here at Harvard for? And my energy level kind of plummeted. I started talking about, something that I was thinking about from the head and not the heart.
Okay.
And so after that experience, I started to recreate myself as an image consultant.
All right.
Taking classes, joining the association. I went to the London Image Institute, which is actually in Atlanta.
Oh.
I studied with the Dominic Isbeck in the Fashion Institute of Technology.
Okay.
And did some internship, but it's constantly looking at the brand, what do I need to be considered qualified within this new industry? Because
All
I
right.
didn't have any experience.
Okay. Okay.
And so over the last 10 years, I have served on the international board of Association of Image Consultants International. I've worked with anyone from CEOs to incarcerated youth. And my business will be 10 years old in February.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, you certainly do have all the qualifications you need to tell us about this exciting field. And when we get back, we're going to be looking for some more specific information. Thank you. Make sure you come back with us.
He covered over 5,000 miles, averaging about 100 miles per day. Manson says he wants to thank all who donated to his cause and wants to remind us that even though his journey is over, must continue. Tom and Harriet Banks.
Every year, 1 million families face losing their homes to foreclosure. Because they don't know what to do, they do nothing. If you're in danger of losing your home, call us, because nothing is worse than doing nothing.